Welcome back, everyone, to another amazing episode of Bumpin' and Thumpin', your podcast featuring everything about for independent wrestling from around the world. And I'm here to issue a heat advisory for this episode because this episode is about to be fire, and bringing the smoke today is our guest, Rory Shield. So when we come back after a word from our sponsors, you're going to hear all about Rory Shields.
The secret to building passive income and generating wealth in real estate is having access to capital to buy those great deals when they come along. One thing most real estate moguls have going for them is knowing how to utilize private funding and where to find it. For those that don't, there's tsquarelending.com. We provide real estate investors of all levels and experience with the means to acquire the funding they need to purchase and renovate, purchase and hold, or refinance properties that they currently own. How? By connecting them with private lenders that base their approval on the appraisal value of the property only, not a credit score. Our lenders feature interest-only loans, approval for a loan in 24 hours or less, no debt-to-income ratios, refi properties after only 60 days of seasoning. Don't delay. Call today. 877-49-LOANS. 877-495-6267, or visit us on the web, www.t-squarelending.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Bumping and Thumping, your podcast featuring everything about for independent wrestling from around the world. And fresh back from her magical journey from the Electric Forest, our guest, Rory Shields. Rory, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. Just came back from Electric Forest. That was a lot of fun. The energy there is insane. How are you?
You know what? I'm amazing. I get to spend my time talking with amazing guests like yourself. I couldn't be happier. So I want to jump right into this pod today. Like, I have so much planned for us, so I can't wait to just pick your amazing brain. So where did your love for professional wrestling begin? And how did you know that you wanted to be a part of it?
So I started watching wrestling. Like, unlike most people, I haven't been watching wrestling my whole life. I started watching probably 2017.
Yeah.
And my friend got me into it. And then I never really, there was never a moment where I was like, oh, I decided I want to try this or whatever. It was just kind of in my brain, like, oh, this is something I have to do now.
Yeah.
so it was natural. And then I found somewhere to train.
That's amazing. So would that friend be Tegan?
It is.
What's up, Tegan? I love you, Tegan. So where did you train?
I trained at House of Truth under Truth Martini.
Mm-hmm.
And great experience. Lots of supportive people there. I originally started training back in 2018, I believe, and got injured, and life happens, so I had to quit. And then I came back in 2022, I think, or 23 actually, and then I finished training, and then here I am.
That's amazing. So during your first detour, so to speak, in 2018, did you think you would be rerouted to 2022 where you would begin again?
I honestly never thought I would come back to it. I didn't think I was strong enough or confident enough. And then, I started going to the gym and just making good life choices. And then I felt like I was ready.
That's amazing. Do you still continue that practice now?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm training all the time. I never feel like I'm good enough, I guess. You can always learn more, so.
And that's so crazy when you were just talking about not feeling good enough, because when I see you in the ring, like, this electrifying energy just comes over you and you step into the biggest version of yourself, and it's just so mesmerizing to watch. So last year you also were at Electric Forest, right?
Yes, I was. I was reffing last year though, because I was barely cleared, but this year I got to wrestle and it was very exciting.
So how was that moment for you when you were invited back as a more polished wrestler?
It was a great feeling, especially because they not to come back to ref, but they wanted me to wrestle this year, and it was just like I don't know, I felt sort of like so accomplished because I felt like I was finally on the right path and on a similar level as everyone else.
And that's just it's so interesting how a year can make such a difference in that belief about yourself. Because I mean, being asked to ref at a pretty huge festival, that's a giant opportunity. So
Oh,
it's pretty
absolutely.
daunting. So how did you did you just work on your nerves as you went along? What kind of did you go through um to be this person that you are right now?
Yeah, so I've had like definitely a lot of self-doubt, and I deal with like panic attacks and things like
Sure.
that. It can be rough sometimes. Even now it gets hard, but I have a lot of supportive people around me, just like continuing to like push me to my limits, and just being there for me and being supportive and letting me know that it's okay to have these feelings. And you know it's just everyone's there for you. It's like a family pretty much, and it helps you feel comfortable, and that just helps confidence.
Right. Um, when I first started ring announcing, people literally had to push me through the curtain because I don't know, maybe like the exposure was just so crazy. Like the level of eyes that were on me and the pressure I was under, like, and it's just practice. The difference of just doing it over and over again, just getting the reps in, just brings you to out of that comfort zone, but brings you also to that next level. Um, so what prominent wrestling figures who paved the path before you do you look up to?
So my biggest inspirations and two of the biggest reasons I started wrestling are AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. Like in
Awesome.
terms of women and like well-known figures, those are definitely my biggest inspirations. The thing that got me into wrestling, or like helped my friend get me into wrestling, is I saw a Becky Lynch promo, and I was like, I didn't even see any wrestling. I just saw
Yeah.
her talk, and she was just, I don't know, it just caught my attention right away. And then I looked up
Mhm.
some of the matches on YouTube, and then that led me to look up other people's matches on YouTube, and it started there.
Sure. And at they had to have a first match, and I'm sure they felt similar things to the things that you did. So, it's not your job to reinvent the wheel. You just go your own path, and I just think that's amazing. Um Now that you are this far along in your career, what is some of the best advice that you've been given so far?
Ooh. I've been given so much great advice. Let me think if I could think of anything specifically. Um, Honestly, I think some of the best advice isn't even necessarily wrestling related. It just kind of
Sure.
applies in general. But I think I've heard things like this from you, and like just whatever you're feeling, like allow yourself to feel those feelings and process it. You don't have to be afraid of those feelings or run away from them. Just feel it and find out what's causing those emotions.
And that's one of the hardest things because, as women in society, we have often been disconnected from our emotions. We've been labeled certain things, and if we don't get to the root, if we don't trace it, then how do we manage it? You know?
Right, absolutely. And another thing, kind of branching off of that, is kind of recognize when the anxiety is like excitement and good anxiety versus the bad.
Yes.
Whenever I'm feeling nervous and anxious, I automatically label it as bad and I want to run away from it. But
Oh,
you gotta
right,
enjoy that energy sometimes.
right. And because um anxiety and excitement, they are on different sides of the spectrum, but they resonate so similarly. Um, so other girls, young girls who look up to you and they see Rory Shield in the ring, and then they might believe that they're able to do it too. What would you tell them if they want to follow the path into professional wrestling?
Well, I always tell people, if I can do it, I think literally anybody can do it because I know myself, I never believed I could do it in a million years. But yeah, absolutely. It's not something that's really sorry. I wouldn't say it's something that's I don't know, I guess I can't find the right words, but if it's something you're interested in, something you want to do, you just have to keep training and keep pushing, and it can be hard sometimes, but you'll get there if that's where you want to get.
I absolutely agree with you. Like the more that you increase the belief in yourself and you take the time to adopt the skills that'll get you there, you'll always have that outcome that you want. Um, Rory, this has been quite the journey so far, but after a word from our sponsors, we will get back with everything that is Rory Shield. Don't go
Awesome.
anywhere.
At the corner of Washtenaw Golfside in Ypsilanti, where everyone comes to play.
Bumping and Thumping, your podcast featuring everything about for independent wrestling from around the world. I'm Annie, and we're here with the passionate Rory Shields. Rory, would you go into the details of the outcome from the Chaos Women's Championship match against Randy West?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for those of you who haven't seen the match, I won. I faked an ankle injury. You know, Randy felt bad for me, so she was helping me up, and then I may have pinned her because the ref didn't ring the bell. So, I got the upper hand there, won the championship. Um, you know, anyone who knows Randy West knows that sometimes she likes to fight dirty, and I've learned a lot from her. So I decided to take a play out of her book and use her own tactics against her. And I knew I needed to do whatever I had to do to win that championship, and that's what I did.
You know, I've never seen that cunning play from you, Rory. Like, I know you're capable of anything, but the any means necessary factor, I completely loved because it was, well, it was chaotic. What else are we going to expect from a chaos show? And I just don't think that Randy West expected to be, you know, overcome by a play that was out of her book. So, how did the feud between you and Randy, where did it go after that moment?
So, you know, we've had a lot of back and forth since then. You know, things between us aren't really resolved. We still have our back and forth. So, you know, I always look forward to getting those exchanges and, you know, blowing off some steam. But yeah, I think that's part of the reason it worked so well is she wasn't expecting that from me. Nobody would have expected that from me, but I think I proved to everybody that when I say any means necessary, I mean it.
And you were just so unafraid to go after what you want. And, you know, the more you raise that belief in yourself, you will always hit that desired outcome. And the more that you learn your power, you're only going to take off even further into the atmosphere because the sky's the limit for you, Rory. It really is. So recently you had to relinquish the Chaos Women's title. Would you tell us about the setback that you just recently experienced?
Yeah, so you know, as of recent, I had an injury. It didn't last long. It wasn't anything serious. You know, I was out for a few weeks. I was in a match. I was on the top turnbuckle and I fell and hit the floor. I landed on my feet, so it could have been worse, but I landed flat, and the way that I landed, it didn't fracture anything, but it was like badly bruised on the bottom of my feet. So I couldn't walk, and I was on crutches for a couple of weeks. Sorry, I need a drink. I can't stop coughing. But yeah, and then I did have a match with Stella for the Chaos Women's Championship. You know, I got her with the belt. You know, assumed that I could, you know, got a little cocky, thought that I could keep that belt pretty easily, you know, again, use the do what I have to do strategy, especially coming right back from an injury. And I got a little overconfident and she got the best of me. So
you've recently experienced a setback. So what does that inevitable comeback look like?
you know, being taken out by injury, unfortunately, and that was my second injury so far. But again, luckily, nothing serious. But every time that happens and you're taken out for a little bit, you just use that time and you focus on like how much more you want it just because you can't do it. So when I come back swinging, and I'm doing everything I can to make a big comeback. And so far, I'd say it's been pretty good.
You know, anytime I've had an injury in my own combat sport, it's always given me time to scheme.
Yeah,
It's given me a lot of time. You know, like free time is the devil's, is in the devil's playground. So I use that time to my advantage. And like if I feel like you're a lot like this, when you're left to your own devices, anything is possible. And I love that about you, Rory. So you've been compared to Stella Buho in the past, and you are quite outspoken on that subject. How do these comparisons make you feel?
So on one hand, I feel honored to be compared to another person with so much talent and so much potential. On the other hand, sometimes it is a little frustrating just constantly being compared to people. I feel like that's like a bigger thing, especially when it comes to women. I feel like women are compared to each other a lot, maybe because there's not as many of us, or oops, am I still okay? Sorry, my phone was messing up there.
You're good.
But yeah, I feel like it's more common amongst women, and sometimes it is a little frustrating because you just want to be your own person and you don't want to constantly be compared to other people.
Do you think those comparisons in relation to Stella, do you think that it also provides you for the opportunity to even go deeper into yourself and to use that to your advantage?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely motivates me to stand out in the crowd and just, you know, be my own person and push that even more. When sometimes it's kind of hard to figure out, like, well, okay, who am I as a person? But, you know, I just want to dive so much deeper into that so I can stand out.
With that question in mind, uh what are some things that you've really learned about yourself?
Um, Getting into some deep questions.
I am.
So I am a lot stronger than I realized. I'm a lot tougher than I realized. It's a lot more, it's a lot easier for things to feel more natural when I'm not thinking about it, which normally I'm the type of person who overthinks everything and I have to think about things 1,000 times before I say them. But I kind of realized if I just let myself talk and I don't think about it, it's, you know, I can be comfortable and confident being myself, which is another thing that just kind of feels new to me.
And I think that's so interesting because I too, overthinking is one of my worst habits. But think about the concept of a heartbeat. We don't have to think about it. It just beats. So, and trying not to do something is still doing something. So you just have to let yourself do, because if you don't, then you'll always be left with that thought of what could have happened.
Right. You overthink yourself into not letting yourself just be who you are naturally, and you start being somebody you're not.
And you as Rory Shield you're absolutely perfect. And you're only becoming more of Rory. And I can't wait to see where you are even from a year from now. When we come back from a brief break from our sponsors, we will get back into more that is Rory Shield. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, I'm Jay Aubrey Jackson, the $50 computer virus god of Metro Detroit. We are the home of the true flat $50 computer repair. $50 job no matter how long it takes. Never a penny more. Netbooks, laptops, desktop towers, all-in-one computers, phones, iPhones, tablets, iPads, and game systems. Free diagnosis and money-back guarantee. If we don't fix it, you pay nothing. And we do same-day service within 24 hours of drop-off. And are open 7 days a week, so come to the computer virus god now.
Welcome back to Bumpin' and Thumping, your podcast featuring everything about for independent wrestling from around the world. I'm Annie. This is Rory. And we've unpacked so much in such a short amount of time. So, Rory, on September 7th, you have a match against the Widowmaker, Ricky Morris, at Divine Pro Wrestling. So how did this feud between the two of you begin?
So we've actually been friends. We were friends before either of us had started wrestling. We've known each other for quite a long time. And, it's been both of our dreams for a while. I started training. I got cleared. Eventually, I convinced her to train at the same place, and we used to be so close. And then when I started wrestling, it seems like we sort of started drifting apart. I got busy. She maybe got a little jealous. And I think that jealousy just sort of turned to hatred, and she started feeling like, she got these feelings that I thought I was better than her, or, however she wants to play it out in her head. But, wrestling takes a lot out of you. I'm busy. I don't know anybody my time. So, it's hard losing a friend, but sometimes if that's what you need to do to grow, then that's what you need to do.
I mean, life is complicated. Being human is complicated. Our paths, sometimes they interweave and then they part. But is that necessarily worth losing a friendship over?
I mean, wrestling is my entire life. I'll put everything I have into this. And if somebody doesn't want to be understanding about my circumstances and, be respectful of my time, then are they really worth the place in your life?
And jealousy is such an interesting emotion. Wrestling hosts so many opportunities for everyone. There's resources for everyone to eat. I'm not sure how I feel about that jealousy factor. I mean, does Ricky want to be like you? Does she want to take what you have and use it to her own advantage?
I think she wants what I have, because I think, she sees me winning these championships and getting these opportunities, and she wants what I have. And I think part of it is that she wants what I have, but she doesn't want to work as hard as I've worked to get there.
So on September 7th, Rory, what are you willing to do to get the outcome you desire?
Again, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm a strong competitor, and I know she's a strong competitor, but I work, I train every day. I'm in the gym every day. I do whatever it takes. And I don't know if she's ready for that. I don't know if she expects that from me, especially knowing that, we've been friends. Maybe she has a soft spot, but for me, this is like any other match. It's win or lose.
Well, Rory, I said in the intro that you would bring the smoke, and you delivered on that promise. Those are some strong words coming from you. And right after this break, we will hear more about Rory's upcoming matches and how to connect with her. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Mosquito-borne diseases or mosquito-borne illnesses are diseases caused by bacteria, viruses, or parasites transmitted by mosquitoes. Nearly 700 million people get a mosquito-borne illness each year, resulting in over 725,000 deaths. If you live near a pond or lake, or you're scheduling an outdoor event, go online or call today for your free consultation.
And Thumping, your podcast featuring everything about for independent wrestling from around the world. Rory, where can everyone follow you on social media? And where else can we see you besides Divine Pro on September 7th?
So I am on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, pretty much any social media you can find me at Rory Shield _. And then in terms of show, you can find me around Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, hopefully other places. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Awesome. So July 26th, you have FU where you will be defending the trios belts against FUBK.
Yes, with two of my best friends, Sander and Jay.
Yeah. And then July 27th, you will be where again?
I will be at Flophouse against Thunder Kitty and Juniper.
Amazing. I love Thunder Kitty and Junie. So I have one final question for you, Rory. What message would you like to leave to those who are unfamiliar with who you are?
Well, if you want to know who I am, then you're just going to have to stick around and find out.
You know what? I couldn't have said it better than that. Everyone, thank you for watching. Rory, thank you for your time. And thank all of you for tuning in and your continued support. My name's Annie O'Neill, and this has been another amazing episode of Bumping and Thumping, your podcast featuring everything about for independent wrestling from around the world. We'll catch you next time.
Touchdown!